What's going on? Is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. After the after hours conversation last night, I realized, and I don't know why it's so new to me, like it's almost like a reminder per se, because you start to think that people are objective and they can think for themselves, but then I just see people and I realize that they just sheep. And most people, not all, but most people have the inability, or they lack the substance within themselves to be free thinkers, right? We had a conversation about Diddy, right? As usual, After Hours is evolving into something where it's basically the people's platform. So what that means is that the people determine what the course of the show is going to be. I have subjects that I think that I want to talk about, and then it turns into something completely different, which last night it turned into a debate. And it was almost like Anton versus everybody when it comes to the Diddy conversation. Now, again, I always have to do this because I want people to understand that I'm not biased, is that I don't even like Diddy. Like, that it's never been my thing, like, oh man, the Diddy defender. I'm not defending Diddy. I want to defend the very idea that is innocent until proven guilty. And it's a very dangerous thing for especially men. And that was the thing that was the most disappointing to me, is that it was grown men that was calling in saying that just because Cassie, and they was standing on the idea, yeah, he should go to jail. And I said, okay, cool. Valid. You know what I'm saying? People have an opinion, and I have no problem with that. And I said, okay, so why should you go to jail? Because, man, Cassie, what about her? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a dangerous precedent. And then somebody told me, because of his reputation, your reputation precedes you. What? And do you know how many men have been accused of stuff that they didn't do? Do you know how many people are getting out of jail based off of the Innocence Project? And the unfortunate part of this conversation, and it makes it so difficult to stand on principle, because it's Diddy, right? And so because we don't care about Diddy, because he is a super freak, it's difficult for us to be able to see through the fog and realize that he may very well be guilty. And that's not what we arguing about. But you can't convict somebody in the court of public opinion, because that's the dangerous part about it. Everybody, if you live in America, and this is what you stand on, and this is what men have been fighting for since the beginning of time, deserves the right to be proven guilty with evidence. None of us has seen any evidence whatsoever, but we already convict men in general, especially powerful men. We convict men based off of the court of public opinion, and we take the position that women take. I mean, literally, I've seen so many feminist takes based off of how people feel, and then they would wish jail on somebody, and they don't even know the person. They haven't seen no evidence. They haven't seen anything. How many people do we see this happen to? I may not like him. I may not stand for what it is that he stands for. I don't like the fact that he be doing freak offs and stuff like that. They don't have nothing to do with the perspective that I have towards whether or not you should have your day in court, or we should at the very least see the evidence. People was coming up there, yeah, man, they arrested his kids, and so he definitely should go to jail. That's false. They detained them, and they made a spectacle about it in front of the general public, or in front of the media, who just so happened to mysteriously be on both coasts with helicopters and cameras already ready to see this raid. And it's like, y'all can't think, y'all don't see this? Y'all don't see this. So you telling me, come on, let's really just put it in perspective. You're telling me that they're going to deploy this many resources to chase down Diddy. And then people came up, well, what about all of the bad contracts from Bad Boy? Man, don't nobody give a fuck about Mark Curry. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care about your fucked up contract? Okay, cool. You don't like the way that he did business. What does that have to do with the federal government and Homeland Security deploying countless resources and making a spectacle to go after this guy at this time? Listen, the most important things, and this happens every single time, the most important thing that should be on our minds is the things that we should be voting for based off of what we've been seeing happening right before our eyes. This migrant crisis is much deeper, much deeper than just looking on the surface and saying, oh man, they forgot to leave the borders open. Man, don't you know how many stories has been played out with regard to people paying an egregious amount of money, and what is being alleged I got to say that word, alleged, as far as the trafficking of the different women that's supposed to be coming over into this country. And then when you look at the people at the border, it's mostly men. Like, have y'all not seen the reals? So you telling me the federal government doesn't, they spending all of their resources in Homeland Security, is spending their resources chasing down Diddy, but they can't spend their money and their resources towards making sure that nobody's getting trafficked and it's not basically a racket as far as the border crisis and the migrant crisis. That's not, in my opinion, it probably is not even a migrant crisis. And I don't even like talking about this. And then people came over there and they hit me with the, well, yeah, I mean, did you hear what Mace said? Y'all didn't even fuck with Mace. Look, now all of a sudden everybody is rocking with Mace, right? When I was defending Mace about his decision to switch over to church because I am a Christian and I represent what it is, or I stand for what Christ does. And I was like, yo, he reserves, or he deserves the right to be able to discover himself and understand how it is, you know, that he's supposed to be moving based off of his own circumstances. And when everybody was going at him and they was making rap songs about him and people was laughing about him, people had a lot to say. Even when he came back into the spotlight with the Welcome Back joint, people wasn't fucking with Mace. They wasn't messing with him. And then now all of a sudden this Harlem World, come on, man, because you like his show. And I fuck with Mace. I actually am objective enough to take his opinion. I think that he's funny. I think that he's smart. I think that he has a even better career ahead of him than he had behind him. But people wasn't even messing with Mace. But it's so many fair weather people, and they cheer for your downfall. And then when you want to rise back up, if it's somebody else that's fallen in place of you, then that's who it is that just takes the place of it. And it's easy for us to be distracted from the things that really matter, from the stuff that we really think that makes sense. Come on, man. They got Diddy posted everywhere, everywhere. And we got migrant crisis. Cities is going bankrupt. Houston said that they was broke. Mysteriously collapsed column from a boat that just so happened to lose power over the Baltimore Key Bridge. Come on, man. Come on, bro. And again, bro, I don't even want to do this because I like to keep my thoughts reserved to myself and just speak on the facts. That's all I really want to do. And that's why I do the Millionaire Morning Show, because I want to decipher through what's real, what's not, and how it comes back down to the money and what it is that people are really trying to distract us with in order to keep themselves in power. I just want to speak to the facts. I just think that people are easily distracted. They fair weather. They're going to switch up on you, and they want to cheer for your downfall because it's much more salacious and it's much more important for us to have conversations about how we feel about a person instead of what the standard is and what the principle should be when it comes to innocence until proven guilty and what the facts are. We don't even question anything anymore. We just automatically take people at their word. We could see a civil suit come up. And again, this ain't even about Diddy. This is a broader conversation that nobody, especially men, and we've been fighting this and fighting for it since the beginning of time, that no man should by default just believe somebody based off of an accusation, especially a civil lawsuit with regard to money. With regard to money, especially after we've seen all of the stuff that happened with the Me Too movement. It's crazy, man. And it's crazy. And I hate the fact that I feel like the crazy one, or I always got to be the needle in the haystack, because, you know, the nail that sticks out, that's the one that get hit. That's the one that get hammered. So I'm going to reserve my thoughts. I'm going to go back into my cave because I am a C student and I don't know nothing. I'm going to reserve my thoughts. I'm back to that because I don't want to be the bad guy. I'm not trying to be the person of, oh man, you defending Diddy and all of that. No, ain't nobody defending nobody. Ain't nobody defending nobody. It's really more about the principle and how we supposed to be moving and operating. And we not doing that because we care more about feelings like some feminine women than we do about the facts. And I want to see the facts. I don't want to see your supposed thoughts, your supposed facts, no accusations, none of that. Women lie, men lie. If they come out with a tape and they show real evidence, then that's a completely different conversation. Then we can have that conversation. And I reserve the right to change my mind based off of new evidence. But if it ain't that, and if they saying, and I've read the reports, I study the news, I do this stuff before I jump on the Millionaire Morning Show every single day. He was not arrested. He is free to move around. He is not restricted on his travel. Kids wasn't arrested, none of that stuff. When I see the evidence, then I'll go. We've seen plenty of raids, because people, here's the other argument. Well, they not going to raid unless they got something. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Peace.